Welcome, everyone, to the latest episode of the Haptics Club podcast. I'm Ashley Huffman, Strategic Partnerships at Titan Haptics, and I'm joined by our trusty Haptics crew. Got Manny from Unity, Eric from Razor, and Brian from Sense Glove. The Haptics Club is a team of people that have a passion for haptics. Our goal is to raise awareness of all the amazing things, tech, people happening in the space, and foster interesting discussions around the subject matter. We are happy to be here for yet another amazing season of Haptics Club. And of course, we really want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Haptics Industry Forum has proudly sponsored us, and we're grateful for them to keep a coffee in our hands and the lights on and this club going, because it's a passion that we love so much. Check them out at hapticsif.org. And they're helping bring the industry together with standards and cooperation and communication and discussions also. But this is a fun episode. Let's dive right in. We are doing a live broadcast of CES 2023. There's so much cool stuff happening, guys. Like, it's crazy. We've seen haptics in a lot of different things. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to dive right in?
Yeah, Ashley, thanks a lot for the intro. CES is always the funniest part of the year for haptics. You get to popping up a lot of concepts and then they disappear within the next year. That's only the good stuff about CES. You cannot go wrong, CES. I mean, it's fun. It's like, it's like a future prediction. You're supposed to be wrong. And we got some news are lined up. The idea is to go through them, discuss them, have a couple of chat around the opportunities that the trends that they indicate. But let's go dive in. I mean, it seems that haptics gloves are the thing this year. I mean, it's there's a lot of there's a few of them here. We'll discuss about them, but it seems that everyone is getting crazy for the M words. I don't know if we actually can say it. No, it's a lot of force field. I mean, these are the Dexmo from the Dexmo robotic gloves. I think I tested them 2017. Back then, or some 18 somewhere. I was at a BAE military complex in UK. They had one of them. I thought they actually didn't exist anymore, but they're back on track, and it's nice. It's a force feedback glove. It's really well built. It seems to me. It's from China. I think the founder joined Meta a few years back, but it's good to hear that they are still alive. Did you have a time to test them, Ashley, these gloves?
No, this is like the one glove I haven't had a chance to test, but it looks very curious because I feel like it's it kind of solves something that some of the other gloves just don't focus on. It does look like it's very specific to this force feedback of like what gripping items and being able to feel like tension. Was that kind of like the use case that they went through?
This one here, this particular one is that it's active force feedback. So it actually pushes back. The Haptics and the sensor gloves, the other ones, they don't. This one actually pushes back. And if you hold, they have a nice demo, it is a beating heart. If you hold the beating heart, the nice things about that it actually beats back. You actually feel all your fingers to push out. The other gloves, they use mostly Electro-tactile with an illusion, which is a beating heart. It moves your fake fingers, actually the image of your finger move. They actually get it moved physically. So that's pretty compelling. Remember that the things that they had of a problem that they are quite they break down quite easily actually. That's and the price point is a bit high. But I mean, this is a clearly an industrial glove, and I'm glad to see that they're back on track. And that's cool. And second one, of course, is Be Haptic. Our friends of Be Haptics from the show. You test them out, right, in Smart Haptics. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I love this one because of how simple it is. It honestly, it was just, if you're in virtual reality, this one makes a lot of sense. If you're a gamer, because it's not doing a whole lot. It has it has basically haptics in the fingertips. So when you touch objects, it gives you just a little bit of engagement. It's not distracting. It doesn't like take away from kind of the thing that you're actually focused on, like visually or immersively. It's cost effective as well compared to the other tech on the market, and that's because it's so simple. But have you tried this one before?
Yeah, I mean, it seems this is at the end of the day, 5 LRAs under the fingertip, right? Yeah. A Bluetooth controller, a glove, which you actually could make it at home if you would like to, because it's fun stuff. You know why it's a yellow glove?
No, I was curious.
It's yellow glove because if you make it black, it does not work with the lip motion, because the lip motion works in ER, and if it is black in ER, it doesn't pick it up. So the previous model, it seems to me, it was black. I think it was not working with the lip motion, so they made it yellow.
I was super curious. That's so funny. Yeah, very true. Very true.
Whatever. So it's a 5L arrays, and they are Bluetooth microcontroller. It's nice to be Haptics because their SDK is pretty clean. The interface is actually pretty clean. So I'm happy to see this and look forward to see if they get traction, because they always same problem about gaming in VR. It's always the hand tracking is flickery, and I don't see a lot of games with hand tracking now out. I don't know. You game more than in VR. Are there a lot of games with hand tracking actually?
Yeah, it's starting to shift. You're seeing a lot more games use hand tracking. I think it's, so this would make a lot of sense, but it's still considered like a developer product. So it's not end consumer focused, which is smart, like, work out the kinks and make sure that it's like as easy to use as possible and as engaging. And they develop content for haptics. So I think that they're in a good spot to be able to make this work really well. But we're starting to see more, which is cool.
It seems cool. Let's see what's going to happen. Of course, it's not fidelity driven; it's user experience driven. But it seems fun. Seems fun. Prop to them to actually get it done at the end of the day, because it's like a concept of Lucas VR, right? And it's a simple system, and you can buy it. Works. Makes sense.
Yeah. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't make it too expensive. Yeah. Then, more gloves.
Yes, the tact glove is the yellow one that we show there. This is the black one, and they show the yellow one to make it work. Whatever. And then there is the Maestro from our friends from Contact CI. Nice one. It's a tendons-based system, which is basically they have a semi-elastic pulling cable going through here, and on the wrist here, they have the motor system that allows you to relax, basically block it, and they relax it as a function of the touching system. It's kind of similar to the Sensei glove, right? The new one, how is it called? The new Sensei glove Nova, that it has the cables running. Still tested it at Smart Haptics, clean product, works well. Long development time, I think 5 years. And it's nice. I think I met them in 2017 again, when we were at CES doing the VR Touch. They were there doing this one. I'm glad to see that it became so much better. And this is cool. And we have then. Did you test it at Smart Haptics, right, Ashley? The Contact CI one.
I did. Sorry, one sec. Just going to do that. Yeah, so I tested that as well. Yeah, I like that it's also like simple. It wasn't like heavy or complicated. It just kind of like fits, and it just works really well, like a seamless experience.
Cool to hear that. A lot of gloves coming up. Then we have two like more concept one. One is LED skin, which has, I think, finger tracking into the textile, and they use electro-stimulation. Seems to be to create haptics in the hands. It's unclear if it is on the tip of the finger or on the palm. So electro-stimulation is a well-known and cheap way to generate tactile experience on the skin that doesn't require any mechanical implementation. So it has drawbacks, given the fact it's not mechanical, which is a haptic metaphor. And the small drawback of electro-tactile is that it actually also elicits pain receptor. So you get the mixture between tactile and pain experience, which it works well in some situation, let's say danger or highly excitable situation, works a bit less well for wellness application. When you would be relaxed, you don't want to be with it. But still, it's a concept. I don't know if they would productize this. Seems to be that it's kind of a concept, but we'll see. And last, you tested like some electro-tactile devices, right? Actually, do you have any feedback on that technology?
I think I don't have a whole lot of feedback. It's definitely one of those things where it's very user specific. Like each person is so different in how they perceive it or how they experience it. And so I've seen for myself, it's like I was an okay experience. I have a preference of like less electro, just like my own, like I don't just like my own way of experiencing haptics. But for other people, I've seen like a gambit of like they couldn't feel anything, and then other people who like were hurt by it. So I think for me, it's just one of those technologies where I feel like I've got to sit back and wait for it to kind of just become a more consumer or like user friendly product where it's a lot more controlled, to take out some of those risks and issues that it's just like anything electro has. So that's just my own personal experience.
But speaking of electro, is Tesla suit at CES? I didn't find them. And we can check it out. And because Tesla suit is another one big player of electro-tactile, they did the vest. Well, Tesla suit, there would be needed gloves, force feedback glove with electro-tactile under it. I never had a chance to test it. It's pretty much used mostly for training at the military and training at for police departments. It's not really a consumer product, but I will be looking forward to test it out.
Yeah, same. The other one we are missing here, of course, is Haptics. So Haptics is also at CES. They're showcasing like their new industrial gloves that are geared more towards, it's like a lower price point. It's got like a subscription model, which is cool. And they're doing some like really funky, what's it, not Lego, Tetris. They're doing like a really fun demo. Jenga, that's it.
It was a collaboration Jenga. I saw it before on Twitter, actually.
Yeah. Which would be Jenga collaboration.
Fun. No, that's fun. We were there with David to test it. That again, Smart Haptics was fun. We tested everything. It was the cool stuff. And it looks cool. I mean, the haptics is on point. The question is again a bit more user experience friendly because they have a backpack with the pumps. A backpack with pumps, so it's a thing.
Yeah, very specific use case.
Yeah. Last one though that I like very much is this Kickstarter down here on the top left, bottom left is I think a dive. How it's called? Diver X.
Yep, Diver X.
It's cool because they are haptic tech. It's actually pretty nice because they squeezes the finger and they have this small cap. They are in Kickstarter right now, so check them out. It seems that it's nice things. And as an optician, I would say. It is cool because it squeezes the tip of the finger with an element, a flexible element. So it's compliant. You can actually grab a thing. Seems cool. Seems, from my perspective, a good approach. And it seems that it's lightweight and does not require a mechanical system on top of it. It's cable-driven, I think, or I think like polymer-driven. I think a cable-driven. I don't know yet. And it seems cheap enough, probably effective enough because they show the nice video where you splice it. The finger is actually you have enough force. So it's I'm interested to see where they go with that. Seems slick, it's white and black. It's relatively simple.
It's definitely giving me like golf glove, sports glove vibes. I'm always timid of Kickstarter. We've seen a lot of Kickstarter products that are haptics related, and it's definitely I don't know what the batting average is, but
sorry. I'm not sharing. So let me see if I can get there.
No, we're not. We don't see your browser. We don't see what Eric's working.
You don't see your browser. That's actually nice. You would see a Razer wallpaper that was put in the wallpaper here. I wanted to see their website if we can show the Kickstarter. Let me see this.
Yeah, I'm curious what they're at.
So it's a nice thing because it seems this is the system, and you see it here. And it's pushing like that. And it's probably, this is electroactive polymer. So it seems that it's pretty nice. Please stop the video here. It's nice that we're using the Gen haptics.
Full circle.
Everybody's using the same all the time.
Damn it, haptics industry.
It's always the same. Let me get the haptics.
I'm speaking on behalf of David over here. He's probably raging. That's why he's muted. Fully raging.
Then, this goes for the gloves, right? It's incredible how many gloves we have.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, but there's 6, 7 types of gloves. What actually makes me always think about is that there is no APIs. It's just what, whatever. It's just me. It's nice. It's good that there is a hardware because it means that there is a market need, and we'll see how it evolves from there.
Yeah, I don't know if Sense Gloves at CES, but if we missed anyone else.
No, they're not there.
Not there?
Talked to Heis, told me, we don't see the point to go. It's not our target market. They are on enterprise applications. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
This is the Actronica vest. Nice to see that it goes in pair with the Haptics one, right? The tac suit. I think to just show it there for the first time at CES. It's a nice one. It's 20 actuator. HD Haptics is wideband, different dimension of actuator. So it's a neat product from my perspective.
Yeah, looks really cool. Yeah, I can't wait to play with that for sure.
Yeah, agreed. I think this closes our VR stuff, right? It's for VR haptics. It seems that quite a lot of effort on hands. I was expecting more vests, frankly, with you. Because it's such vest like this. It's just a more like easy product. We don't need to do a lot of hand tracking based system. It's probably get the market straight away. So I was expecting more vest. I'm happy to see there is a lot of gloves. It's fine, but whatever. We'll see if someone actually does it.
Well, the gloves definitely work well with all the different like AR, MR tech that's come out. So I think that's kind of a good overlap. I don't know if they knew that was happening or not, but if there's a bunch of headsets that don't have controllers and there's an opportunity, it's like, makes sense.
Fair enough. Then we go to the Haptic trackpad. It's again hot right now with the Dell Latitude. There is the Collab Haptics, which is basically just a Collab trackpad that you can click things for Zoom, but actually have a haptic trackpad inside of it, like the Apple MacBook Pro. Finally, it's nice to see Windows laptop coming back and adopting this tech, which at the end of the day is there because a mechanical failure of normal trackpad is there. So if you squash too much, you break it. With haptics, you can make it rigid. It's clean. And I think Apple at the time was saying that you could make it slimmer, but I don't know. I think it's mostly related to the fact that you don't break the trackpad. So good to see that it's picking up. And we have also the Fusion Pad from InnovaBot with, I think, another company, which has been nice to see InnovaBot that is starting to design and ship product. And again, it's a reference kit. I think that there is also TDK with, Canadian company. I don't know how they call it. Boreas, yes. Boreas with their trackpad. So nice to see that there is quite some haptic trackpad offers. Seems that Windows 11 has haptic API open, so you can actually program them. It's starting to be maybe useful. It depends on product designer if they want to implement them in various applications, of course.
Yeah, I think we're seeing more and more buzz around this area, but the use case and like the value to an end customer, it's not super clear, but I think it's like connecting those two worlds, as you mentioned, is where we're going to start to see some fun stuff happen. But it's like build the technology in and then have people invent cool things.
I always remember when I was Apple user for some times, when I was using Keynote. It's nice because they use the haptics, just can bump you back a little bit, bumps you back, the MacBook haptics. And in Keynote, it was used, but when aligning the two objects, when aligning, there was a bump of haptics. and which is cool because it was helping me navigate and understanding without using my visual. And there is also PowerPoint that made the same thing in iOS. The difference is that PowerPoint makes you feedback and align things for a lot of things compared to Keynote, that is not a lot of things. And at the end of the day, there was so much haptics in the PowerPoint one. I was actually distracting.
I can imagine, actually. Yeah,
it was not great.
It's like, well. Yeah. Just trying to show a presentation.
I was thinking, no, yeah, that's a usual good design. Good design is invisible, right?
Yeah, like subtlety, yeah.
I mean, it was not enough for me to use Keynote because it's a nice product, but it's not PowerPoint. Yeah. But yeah, it was a kind of bad implementation.
That's funny.
Hopefully right now with Windows API, they might maybe do it a different way. And then this is on you. This is your word, Ashley.
Yeah, I love this. So this isn't super haptics related necessarily. We don't really know because this is just rolling out, but Sony announced that they're doing, basically they're creating a car in collaboration. And I think what's really interesting is they're partnering with Epic Games. It's within this Sony Honda mobility area. And really, like, for me, the exciting thing is that, as a car turns more autonomous, it becomes people who just are so bad at driving, there's many of them, that they can actually use the car as this entertainment center. And I think if Sony jumping into this game at this point tells me that, this vision is something that automotive makers see, that they see a lot of value in, and that it's going to turn that way. So it's like the vision that a lot of people in automotive haptics talk about is, there's the use case of like haptics as a way to communicate things that's happening in the environment. Of course, like if you are driving off to the side of the road and you're hitting the side, and it needs to alert you with like haptics in the seat saying, hey, like, stop driving like an idiot. Or there's like something oncoming or someone in your peripheral you don't want to merge into. It's like, that's one. But in terms of like haptics as an entertainment experience, I'm imagining like the epicness and kind of like value that Sony brings to the market in terms of haptics is, top tier. But what could they possibly do in a car that would make it an amazing like movie theater experience, for example, once we kind of get to that area of cars. In the current term, it could be something in the back seat for the kids, or your passenger who, you don't allow to pick music, but they can play their own games. But that's what really excites me about this. I think it's a kind of a planting of flag in the industry of which direction things are going. I don't think Sony would do this otherwise. Of course, they're known for their screens. They're known for a lot of things like TVs. They're known for sound. But I think at the same time, their kind of brand in the space is anchoring all of those things together, with haptics being the heart and like a narrative that is critical to like the products that they build.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's fun to see because with the fact that cars they are not going to drive themselves anytime soon. Hopefully, it was a big things. Yeah, let's say it was fun. Everybody was pushing that way, and then they realized, planes are not driving themselves now that there is no traffic jams and there is no people jumping out the street. So how can we even think about that? Cars will drive themselves, whatever. But however, it's becoming an entertainment center, that's for sure. And due to the fact that it's basically computers on wheel now, and broadband connectivity is necessary for everything related to over-the-air update and all these kind of things. It's a big battery, so you have a big screen everywhere. So, why your kids cannot play computer games when they are on the backseat and they can shut up and play computer games.
Exactly.
It's a thing, and it makes a ton of sense. It's actually make a ton of sense that entertainment and company that are used to entertain at home, you're seated, is comfortable. Yes, it's comfortable, and you need to spend a lot of time. So it makes sense that there's this convergence of home entertainment and consumer electronics. With I think that you will see more and more this kind of partnership moving forward, with the fact that the car is not anymore a complex thing because it's a piece of battery with a bunch of motors and wheels. It's not anymore like explosion going on in the front. I know that you are a car gasser.
Yeah. I'm fine. Yeah, I'm going to keep my Mustang for as long as I can.
You should.
Which explodes. But agreed. Yeah, this is definitely the direction that things are heading, and it's like the eventuality we can all see and we know is going to happen. We've seen it in It was created in sci-fi, and now it's the vision of the future that has to happen. And with the current state of things.
Yeah, I mean, Europe is like when in 5 years, 10 years, it's forbidden to sell any more gas cars.
Yeah. So figure it out, guys. Turn it into an epic entertainment center. Sony, let's see what you got.
Let's make it happen. And now, speaking of Sony, there's a PS5. If the PSVR 2, it's rumored to have haptics integrated in headset. It's fun stuff because that makes 3 haptics points. 2 hands and a head, and a head. It's nice to see here because in Razer we have the headphones edges head, which is a thing. Is a thing because you can actually shake the visual field of the people. It's funny. I was doing an experiment at 20 hertz, shake people. You actually see your eyes moving. That's fun. Actually, you get cool. You can put people out of control, like the old Rumble. Old Rumble, we were out of control with the hands. You could do the same thing with the visual field, and you just get it moving like that.
Changing perception as we speak. Yeah. This thing is really cool. I'm curious, like how it's going to be used in games for sure. Like there's like a nuance to what you can do for environmentals, of course, and then the big thing is for me is like how it could possibly help with people who face like nausea in VR. So that for me might be a huge unlock. Especially they announced Gran Turismo as one of the games that they'll be releasing, and that is like that's a nauseator maker. My friend Ben Lang was making fun of me for that because he's saying you're gonna love this announcement, but you're gonna hate it at the same time.
I can't drive in VR. I just puke after 1 second. It's just I can't. I tried it.
It's really tough. And it's funny what you said, Ashley, before that. I think there's 2 use cases I think are super cool with haptics in headsets. The first one is what you said, mitigating everything related to motion sickness. And I'm a bit like Eric, whenever I'm in like a roller coaster or whatever, it becomes a bit hard when you don't have like a point of fixture. And the second is for FPS game, having the sensation of salivation around the head, for example, can allow you to understand better the threats or the position of, I would say, discrete sound, like footsteps, for example, is a super high important audio feedback for professional players in FPS games. So being able to, let's say, position it around your head and spatially can help give, even if it's microseconds, but that's an edge on your, competition.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think that's going to be a significant value add in the gaming space. I think in haptics and controllers, there's a lot of contention of like, oh, it's taking away from like my reaction time. And there's just some folks who just don't want haptics on because of that. But in a headset, like, I think that's where
reaction time. It's only, I get research. It's only because it's in the hands.
Yeah.
And if you put it somewhere else, it actually improves your reaction time. And there is a lot of discussion in some game studios that we are talking to about if it is fair to actually put the haptic track, because if he has haptics, you actually get faster reaction time. And there was some people with Razer HyperSense that were tuning the audio at a special equalization to maximize the response of the HyperSense because it was making them go faster. Due to the fact that it's stereo, it was actually making them react faster. And that is a thing that I think is unexploited. It's something that there's a few research coming out from a neuroscientist that they do multisensory integration. You go faster, that's measured, but it's not 1 + 1. Actually 1 + 1 = 3, that you get improved performances if you use haptics and sound together. Like it's not linear, you would expect. It's actually the gain is much higher. So there is, I think, something there for competitive games to build a haptic system to react faster. I think it's not a thing that it's feasible. Let's say like this. That's fun.
Yeah, it's like it's leveraging technology in a way that gives you a leg up, and that's like not something new. And I think professional gamers have like very specific requirements at which they need to play to like thwart those kind of things. But for other people, it's like you buy the best DPI so that you have the most control, or you can buy like a headset so you can feel this. So I think it's just like you do what you can to win.
But I think this ties well with the automotive that you were saying before. Having haptic cues actually might help for security because you're not overloading your visual field due to the fact that autonomous vehicle is not going to happen, or at least not tomorrow. And it might be a thing to check out. I mean, if you can radar things, you can, and it's nice because we discussed about that with Rangini and at the time about a sensory overload, the fact if there is some language that the automotive people will come up with that is always the same of every automotive, we have their own haptic language, and it's a huge difficulty to change because people will change brand and not feel anymore the same thing, so they get confused. So that's some discussion, but I think it's an interesting research field. I don't think it's yet ready for business, but I mean, haptic students, this is something that makes sense. This second one from PlayStation. It's all for
Sony's just dropping the tech, which is awesome. So this one is also in the speculation territory for haptics, but just adding it because it's an opportunity for really interesting haptics. It's called Project Leonardo, and it's an accessibility controller. So really what they've done is just create a controller that's adaptable, so people that have accessibility requirements can game as well, because that particular PlayStation form factor, the controller they have, isn't perfect for everyone. If you're one-handed, or you can't use your one hand, or you have only use of certain fingers, it's not a perfect solution for everyone, and they know this, and so they've recognized it, and they want to bring on this device. Looks really interesting. I definitely want to check it out and test it out. And I am curious if it has haptics. I really hope it does, because that seems like, right? It's pretty amazing. Have you seen it, Menu? Have you heard anything?
So I've heard about the one that Xbox came up with, which helped so many lives. And I think that this is needed in every single aspect of technology, not just console gaming. But it's great to see that Sony is finally joining the game and proposing something accessible for everyone. I think this is going to help so many people. And on top of that, hopefully, it's not just connectable to, let's say, their console, but also to PCs, so that people can use it on other devices, because I think this is what Xbox is aiming at with their old accessible controller. This form factor is a bit different from the Xbox One, but it's interesting because I think that the circular aspect may actually bring some novel additions that the Xbox doesn't have. So I'm interested to see how people use it. Also, it's always interesting just to put it out and see how people, find new ways to use it that are not necessarily intended by the constructor. On top of that, like you said, I wonder if it has haptics. That would be interesting to see.
We'll see. I mean, I don't see why it should have haptics, because it's an old school grounded controller. But maybe if everything is shaking, I don't know, because if that shakes, everything shakes, right? And rattles on the table. But I mean, maybe it's a concept, and they are not seeing it as a product. Hopefully, they make it a product. And no idea. Okay, so that's fun. Thanks, Ashley, for the rundown. Okay, this was the Sony Honda car. It looks cool, however. It looks
Sony Honda.
Cool.
Looks pretty cool. Yeah, it looks all right. Yeah. They're definitely challenging Tesla. It's got like similar kind of vibe. Yeah. Everyone's going streamline. Looks like it's kind of like a solid panel, which is interesting. Terrible if you get into an accident, and it's not cost effective at all. But ideally, it has sensors and things, and you can be as cautious driving as possible. But yeah, overall, kind of cool.
And then we get into the controller field. I was expecting, thanks to the DualSense, that quite a lot of company came up with a nice controller. This from Dell, Alienware. Nice, cool stuff. It has a SealTech trigger inside, and it's adaptive trigger. It's like a resistive force feedback on the trigger itself. I think, at least, that the things I tried. And it's nice because it has much higher density of sensation than the DualSense. DualSense is a servo motor, right? This is magnetorheologic. So you actually, it gets really, really refined, and it's really high quality texture feedback. And I think they were, in the demo, they were showing some different weapons resistance with the gasket and the grillet. The challenge is always the same: is gaming integration and the standardization of these systems here. And that's, I think, a really cool. I don't know if it's HD haptics or not, because they don't actually say that. They say it's advanced rumble. I don't know what does that mean. Or wideband haptics. They didn't mention that, so they didn't use a PlayStation wording. So it might be LRAs, it might be not voice coils. I don't know. And they say that they have a trackpad haptics under the trackpad. So it might have maybe a single actuators under it that gives some feedback when you click something. And it's concept. They said that they will never bring it anytime soon on the market. Nice things about this is that on the Alienware face, it's a fingerprint recognition and uses as a login for your account in the different Xbox services. Thinks that's not a bad idea.
Oh, that's really cool. I like that. Yeah.
It's actually quite cool because they cannot get stolen. Okay, you cannot get your friends use it, but it cannot get stolen, and it makes sense. User experience. You put your finger, you're in.
Yeah, like even in VR, like in controllers, like just typing in anything is such a pain in the ass. So that's really good to see. If I just have to add my fingerprint, I love it. I'm in. I like the lighting of this one. I don't know. Just it's very nuanced, but yeah, very interesting. Interesting that they don't use the typical like HD wideband language.
Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not. I think the big selling of this one is the adaptive trigger, which is force feedback. And I don't know if they was busy using the concept for user experience of the games. It was not a pure haptics concept. It's more like a global inspiration for user experience, but they said they will never do it. And I'm sad. It's always the same problem with console, and it's really harder to innovate because we need to wait that the console actually supports that. It's not like PC that you can build stuff.
Yeah, so true.
And then we have last one, I think the one's already fun now, is the nice one is come from OnePlus 11, which is the 11th iteration of the OnePlus brand. Nice story, this brand. They started as a flagship at really low price, I think 11 years ago. And they are right now one of the best seller phone you can buy. And it's in partnership with AAC. They had a custom designed haptic driver, linear haptic driver. It reminds me quite a lot of the Haptic engine from Apple. And in the article, they were mentioning that you can mix a two haptics effect. If that is true, it's the first in a phone, at least in a phone with a system integration, which is not bad. It's good to see that it goes in the right direction. They mention application, third party, and games would use this. As usual, it's an SDK integration problem. And again, if it's only for this phone, it would be even more challenging. But still, it's nice to see that there is a push from OEMs manufacturer onto creating better haptics for Android phones, which is a well-known problem in the ecosystem where Android haptics, it's complex, or at least it's fragmented and APIs are not there. So it's really harder to get something out of the door that makes sense. This is, I think you have some final remarks, Ashley, something that you would like to mention.
Like a menu giggling.
I want the final remark from Ashley. Let's go.
Sorry, man. The fact that you didn't switch on the camera makes me, I don't know if you're there or not,
I'm not hovering. I'm spatial manu today. I'm just in your head.
I love it.
Yes.
Great to have you in any form, Manu, always. I think just final thoughts are, it's great to see haptics be a emphasis of CES. I think with a lot of the CES branding and like content that came out originally from them directly, like there was kind of no mention in the use of either app. Like looking at haptic stuff is nearly impossible. This isn't a slag off of CES. I'm just saying as a someone who's an interest in the area, trying to engage. That's kind of like one of those things I'd love to see as like a do better of just making it easier to find these types of topics. Cause there's obviously like a lot of companies in the haptics at CES. So if I search your app and I don't see any when I search haptics, like help me, help you, help me. But overall, like this makes me so happy and so excited that that there's just so many people interested, so many people pushing forward, especially in industries where the financial upside is still kind of in question in the AR, VR space, MR space. And we're seeing like aggressive pushes by companies like Canon, who's releasing their version of a headset, MR headset. And so I think that says a lot for what people are working towards. They still see a future in these areas and all of these different industries, automotive, XR, household, just consumer technologies, all have a need and a value with haptics. So I think I'd love to see more haptics involved just publicly, make it more accessible, and that I just want to encourage anyone who's in the space. If you know, this is like a good outlet for communicating about products you're working on, or like concepts, ideas, thoughts you're working on. So to reach out, and we definitely want to like share what you're doing, because it's what you're doing is important. And we know it's not easy, but yeah,
there's something you said that I think is very key here, which is we are seeing multimodalities appearing more and more in technology and in different form factors and in different industries. But haptics has always remained, an optional thought, like accessibility. And that's why, you had 5 versions of PlayStation before seeing the first ever accessible controller. That's because it's always a second thought. But because consumers are seeing the value and because those multimodalities are becoming more and more important, maybe also because, in extended reality, you have to think of multimodalities a bit more. I think that the rise of XR, AR, and MR are forcing companies to explore more these subjects. And so it's beneficial to everyone as those companies are seeing the value. I think that what you said, Ashley, is super important about the fact that it has to also be something that can be pushed forward. I would love to see more companies using the term haptics and not just hiding it behind, abstract words or like vibrations and things like that, so that we always can search for the word or find ways to have the hashtags, in any news related to that. So hopefully we'll see more of this. Hopefully we'll be able to have the people working behind that also coming out and telling that they're actually working on these things and not being hidden. And I think another thing that I find very interesting here is the fact that at CES this year, XR was really, really kind of the focus, and a lot of AI as well. So I wish we would see something related to AI and haptics. That's something that I'm personally looking forward to see.
Yeah, I do agree. I think discussed about the last. No, it was in the spicy questions side. Also with a little bit with Oliver Schneider. It's related to the fact that we don't have a reference tagging things, so it's really hard to make AI and haptics. And I think it also goes back to what Ashley is saying, is unclear the economic value. So that also, I think, contributes to understand if I am a scarce resource, which like any AI engineer is, should I put my effort into haptics beside visual and sound, where there is so much existing market actually to get an easier library. So I do get it, Manuel. I think AI for haptics will come from haptics company as a way for them to scale the adoption of their product more than from Stable Diffusion or other things that are more like AI company. I think
well said. And I hope to see that soon, because you're right, there is value in this, and that will help everyone, not just the industry but consumers as well. Yep,
I think we made the round.
That was such a cool one. I really love those CES reviews. We should do that every year.
We are. We are. Last year was the first year, right?
Yeah, that's our second in a row. But what I
Yeah.
mean is, now that it's the second, it's a staple. It has to.
Yeah, it's a staple. It's a yearly appointment. Cool. So, Ashley, would like to close?
Yeah, let's close it out. We didn't really have a Q&A this time. We just kind of jammed, which is awesome. But I think that's a kind of important part of us just sharing our thoughts and just like ideally we're here to like spur even your own ideas in the industry, to like get you to think about haptics in a different way, to get you excited about just like all the different things that people are working on and the possibilities, because that really is what haptics is all about, is possibilities. So thank you so much for just taking the time to join us, to engage in some of the cool stuff happening at CES. We'll continue to tweet. We'll create a thread of all the interesting things that we find, so you can kind of stay tuned there. Haptics Club is our Twitter handle. And of course, we have got our sponsor to thank. Haptics Industry Forum, hapticsiv.org, is a supporter of us. They sponsored our Haptics Club this year, and we're grateful for that. Definitely check out their website. If you're a company that's interested in haptics, working in haptics, is in gaming, automotive, all the different kind of spaces, you really should join and make sure that your input is included in the conversations where there's standards being created. And of course, to everyone listening, this has been a fantastic year, and we really wouldn't be here without you taking the time to listen, to share your thoughts. We've gotten such great feedback from people about the folks we have as guests, the topics we cover, ideas for next year, and I can't even tell you right now because we can't release it yet. But the guests we have next year are ridiculous. It's going to be amazing. So you're going to want to stay tuned. Until then, hapticsclub.com is where you can check out the updates as they happen. We're on Spotify, of course. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're really everywhere. We're at this point, we're everywhere. So next time, check us out. We'll have an epic guest for you. But thank you so much for tuning in. And on behalf of the entire Haptics crew, we appreciate you. Hearts out to you.
And Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy freaking New Year.